have, but you hold yourself back. And the tomorrow's session will actually apply some of the practices that we can apply that will help you with your promotion and other things. Let me just see how many have joined. Okay, let's kick off. I hope you can see my screen now, and let's see. Okay, those of you who have joined, can you please start with a hi on the chat and let me know that you can hear me clear, loud, no issues, and see me, and you can see the screen that I'm sharing. Just say hi and I'll know that you have. Good. Thank you. Cool. Just giving more time. I see more people joining. So making sure I give more time. So those of you who've been here on time, thank you very much. Okay, let's start off. Great. So those of you who don't know me, I'm Rakesh Ravindran, and I will give a detailed introduction a little later. But you can actually put up some QR codes on the screen for you to go through and see. You be more familiar with my content and what I produce. This is something that I've been doing on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. I educate people on how to grow in career and what needs to be done and how you can put in strategies, how you can put in systems that will help you grow in your career. Right? So that's what I do. Now, quick one. Let me just quickly get you some of the links. This is just so that you are more familiar with me, and that's it, right? Okay. Sorry, I'm using Zoho for the first time as my webinar. I usually use Zoom. I wanted to try this out. So little unfamiliar with a lot of the controls. That's what's okay. I can't put in text as this. So anyway, so you have what you have. Okay, so you can see my screen. And before we kick off, we'll go through some basic ground rules. Yeah. So the first one is that this is about 2 hour session, 2 hour long session. So we prepared. I would prefer that you are not distracted. Please sit in a place where you can stay focused as much as possible. Uh, take notes as much as possible, because of course, you're not doing anything while you're listening to me in the screen. So it's important that you have what you're seeing and hearing into an activity that helps your brain learn better, right? So take notes. Have a beginner's mindset, right? So of course, a lot of you who are here, you come with a lot of experience, and that experience is a baggage that you carry, right? So now you may have different experiences, and not everything you hear and learn may be easy to adapt and do things. Again, you don't have to, right? And but then for this session, it will be easier if you just, as any adult learner, when you are learning and you spend some time, it's good to unlearn. So in this case, just keep it aside and keep an open mind to really understand what is happening, right? Cool. And then, of course, please engage on chat if you can. If you have the ability to engage on chat, go ahead and please engage on chat. Positive and respectful discussion is a necessity, or else it just makes it really bad for all of the people who are here. Make it easy on everybody else. Be understanding, and so be absolutely respectful in the chat. You can use Q&A section to ask any questions if you have questions. And again, staying respectful is important. Yeah. And then, of course, I'll answer all the questions, even if it goes beyond 2 hours. So don't worry about it. Any question that is posted, I will go through it and answer them. And I may ignore some questions because, of course, what I try to do is I bundle them together, or I may have already covered it. So you may feel like your specific question is not answered, but know that the concept that I am going through, and if you have questions on that, that will be answered no matter what. Yeah. Okay. And then highly recommend using a laptop or a PC. If you're on the phone, may not have the best experience, because there are activities that I'll want you to do. So those activities is, you can't switch screens on phone. So it's always better to just go ahead and log into a laptop. And the last one is have fun while you are at it, right? So again, I'll be really quick about this. 20 years of experience in corporate world, MBA from Marshall University, and I'm a leadership and life coach with ICF credentials. And I'm also an AI generalist. What I mean by that is I basically help small MSMEs adapt AI in their workflows as much as possible, because they find it a little difficult to see where the applications are possible. So this I sort of help them out with it. So why am I doing this? Is because I know for a fact that this is an actual incident that happened. It was a few years back when some of the senior leaders we were out on a offsite with the company. The whole idea of offsite on a quarterly or a half-yearly basis, a lot of the companies have that, is because you're going to strategize there. So one of those events, uh, over the evening, after the day's session was done, it was a 2-day session. I saw a bunch of leaders sitting around a table on sofas and having conversation. They were laughing about something. So I joined in after my session, and I basically asked them what was happening, and then one of them said that, oh, we were just talking about one of the directors was basically saying that this person had actually hired a manager, a senior manager, for half the budget. And those of you who don't know, budget is basically the minimum salary that usually the minimum salary in a range for a role, right? So they were half of that was what they were offering this candidate, and the candidate accepted it, right? I learned later on that candidate was getting paid much lesser in his previous organization, so he thought it was okay, right? Now the point is not that, right? The point was, one, it hurt when I heard that, and people were laughing about it. So I was worried about the entire culture that we were. And this is not just in one organization, it's pretty much everywhere, right? Managers are rewarded, leaders are rewarded to keep the cost low. Right? And so a lot of what they do is around it. So how do we keep the cost low? Maybe hire at a lesser cost. That works. Now the problem is also that a lot of the people that are hired, they have no idea what they're really worth. Most of them don't know how to negotiate. Most of them don't know what the industry pays for a certain role. So they are oblivious to what they should be asking. There is no confidence, even if they feel like, okay, maybe they need to. There is this feeling that maybe they are not getting paid enough. But then what really happens is that they also don't know how to go about it, right? So that's the unfortunate truth. And for me, that hit me hard at that point. And I realized that if there is anything that needs to be done, is that first thing, people need to be paid for what their job role demands, right? But if you don't know, how do you negotiate it? So for me, I've always been in coaching and mentoring circles. So I've coached a little more than 1,000 people as of now. Most of it was while I was working in a corporate, and I was just part of the circle. And a lot of people approached me. One of the reasons I think most people approached me, and not no, is was because I grew quite quickly in my career. It took me a while to understand what was happening, and thanks to my mentors who basically showed what the expectations were and how much of a gap there is between what I was doing to what needs to be done. So what I did basically was, in these years, systematized what I had learned and put it into a learning method that helps you adapt to that learning quickly and apply that more strategically. So that's the whole idea. That's the purpose, right? One big thing that is a fact in the industry is that 79% of the professionals are invisible at work. And I'm not saying this is a Michael Page study, right? Invisible in the sense means that you are working hard. You are actually putting in a lot of effort, sacrificing your time with your family, friends, your own time, but then you then don't see the results in the way of your promotion or recognition or just acknowledgement that you are doing something worthwhile, right? A lot of you just navigate through it without being seen for what you're doing. And the fact is, and I wouldn't say it's an unfortunate fact, that's how it has been, right? Is that on the visibles are the ones who get promoted. And a lot of you may see that there are people who are very social, happy to go meet with people, have meaningful conversations with senior leaders, and they get recognized. They seem visible, and some of you may call it buttering up the boss, right? So that's what, or politics in the office. But the fact is, it's just that some of those people are just better at managing relationships. They are just better at networking. And those are strategies. Some learned it organically. They just figured it out. Some are naturally good at it, extroverts who are really out there and happy to socialize, and some struggle. There are a lot of mental blockers to it, right? The fact is also based on study that if you spent more than 2 years in your role, it's very likely as a mid-level leader, if you're a senior manager, director, as a mid-level leader, you are very likely to get stuck in this role for 5 to 7 years. And this is based on global study. And I think the average is much higher in India. It could be more than 10 years that you're stuck in the role. You have no way of getting out of that role. A lot of you bear it because it is not bad enough, right? So that's a paradox. You're stuck in that. It's not nice, but it is not too bad. So we'll just push it up, push on and keep going, hoping that someday somebody wakes up, taps on your shoulder and says, okay, it's time to get promoted. Nobody does that. It'll never happen, right? So that's my mission. I want to reach at least 100,000 mid-level leaders and help them learn the ropes, understand what is happening, what the gaps are, and how you can scale, how you can go through, navigate your corporate ladder, right? So that's the whole idea. Moving on, I showed this to you, put it on the chat. Please familiarize yourself with who I am. It helps understand what I mean by and what is the background that I come with, right? So quickly, one of the things that I will ask is to please go ahead on to a link that I'm going to give you now. Just a sec. And I'm pretty sure most of you don't know what this is. Again, struggling a little bit with the new interface. Zoho webinar. Doesn't seem like I can post text for some reason. I don't know why. There you go. Okay. So I'm pretty sure most of you haven't seen this part, this particular page. I would recommend you go in there. Yeah. This is basically where you can see. Sorry, there is I have to live close to a Air Force station, so there's a little bit of background noise because there's a fighter jet flying, but hopefully you can still hear me just fine. Okay, so those of you who have never heard about Michael Page, right? So this study is something that they do every year. So Salary Guide 2025, there is 2026 that is yet to come. I think it'll be usually at the end of February that they push their studies out, reports out. So if you haven't seen this, go through this link. I can't share the screen because it's proprietary information, right? So it will be something that you will have to do it yourself. Go ahead, follow the link. And what you need to do is you will land into a basic sign up page. Go through the sign up page, basic information like create your account and of sorts. Once you're through there, you will get to a page where you can see different industries and click on one of those, the ones that you belong to, and you can then see by role what the salary is. That is minimum salary to the maximum salary for a role. So you can go ahead and click through, see where you are, right? And once you're done, I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. Yeah, once you're done, come back and let me know on the chat. Let me know on the chat what you thought. Yeah. Like I said, I'll give you a couple of minutes. I wish I could share the screen with Michael Page, but it's not right for me to do that. So I'll have to let you go ahead and do that yourself. Like I said, I'll give you a couple of minutes to go through and understand that. Yeah. Yeah. There is no chat, so you will have to use the Q&A. I'm just going through this myself, just so. So you will see something called salary guide. You can either download the entire PDF, but I would recommend instead of that, right? Just click through view and download salary guide, and if you will see that you have different industries or sectors, right? So you might belong to say banking and financial services, engineering, manufacturing, finance and accounting, so on and so forth. Click through, and you will scroll down. You will see different roles, right? See which one closely associates with what you are doing, and you will know what the actual pay range is for that role and where you are. Look at it and let me know what you felt when you saw this. And if you want, you can download the entire report in a PDF as well. Go, it's all free. So I'm streaming this on YouTube as well. So I put up a poll. You can use that as well, or you can update on the Q&A as to what you thought looking at the Michael and Page study. Okay, I see some updates. Good. Okay. I got. Okay, good. I see votes coming in. About 60% disappointed, 5% expected. Many of you haven't answered. So, but no, 0%, and I'm being paid better so far. So 60% disappointed. Yeah. So kind of understandable. Yeah. And anybody, you might guess why. Like I said, I started with that story, right? Because as an organization, one of the biggest purpose is to reduce cost while keeping the revenue up or high as much as possible, and reducing any risk that could lead to increase in cost or reduction in revenue, right? So these are the three strategic missions that a company has, any organization. That's how it works. Any business operates on these three strategic principles: revenue, cost, risks, right? So know this, right? Most people will more or less be underpaid, right? Or on an average will be. But here is a graph, right? Now, this graph basically shows you, based on your age, what your salary should be, right? So again, this is off of Michael Page. A lot of this is available in um the website, michaelpage.com. Just go ahead, feel free to sort of browse through and see what you find, right? So if you are at 30, you should be earning 40 lakhs per annum. And then if you're 33 to say, as you can see on the screen, at 40, you should be at about 1 CR plus. That's the ideal range, right? Of course, depending on the role. Now, this is not everybody. This is the top 10%, right? It's the top 10% salary. And a lot of people fall way below this, unfortunately. And it is so much so a problem that I think in India we specifically have, because it's really difficult to grow after a certain point, because we in India, we don't know a lot of the things that happens as a global culture. What are the things that is expected? And some people understand it fairly quickly. Some people struggle to get the details of it, right? So that's what we will try and understand what it is. So first thing, what's causing the disconnect? So again, there are studies about this as well, right? The first one, any guesses as to what this is? Answer on the Q&A. Guesses? Yeah, so it's an iceberg, yes. But what is the 15 and 85? What do you think those numbers represent? Any idea? Okay, some of you saying it's the hidden job market. Well, yeah, it's about, so they say it's 20% is hidden out there, but 80% is not. But yeah, this is not difficult to reach the tip of iceberg. No, not necessarily. 15%. It's about skill. Okay, one of you got it. Yeah, it is soft skill and hard skill. Correct. So, but which part of it is soft skill? 15% or 85%? It's hard to get a context when you see bit of information. That's exactly what happens with us as well, because a lot of us don't see the whole picture. It's difficult to see the whole picture, right? And you might have heard, see the big picture, right? That's why sometimes our vision or our ability to see things is much narrower than it should be. And that's the whole idea, right? So let me reveal that it is actually 15% is your hard skill and 85% is your soft skill. In what, right? In being successful in your career. So a lot of you, when you start off, hard skill will be 99%, right? When you first get a job right out of college or whichever educational institution that you come out of, the first thing that they'll assess or want to learn about you is your hard skill, especially if you're in software sector or anything that requires you to have a specialized knowledge in, which is why people hire you. It is hard skill. Hard skill are your learned skills, right? Skills that you need to go through. If you're a software engineer, how good are you at coding? That's your hard skill. What is soft skill is basically, a lot of people, you know it, is your ability to communicate, your ability to strategize, plan, implement, and these are soft skills, right? So based on studies, not by premium institutes, Ivy League universities, Harvard, Carnegie, and Stanford, your success in career depends more on your soft skill. 85% of your success comes from your soft skill and 15% is hard skill. And especially true when you are in mid-level leadership roles. Now, and and it goes lower as you go up. So if you are a director, this is probably 10% hard skill, maybe lesser hard skill, and 90% soft skill. And if you want to go into a global director or a senior executive, it just sort of disappears after a certain point. Your experience will hold some value, but it is not necessarily what gets you the success. What gets you to climb the ladder is really your soft skill, your ability to speak, your ability to communicate your ideas more effectively, getting your team to rally. All of that's what's critical. If you don't have that, it's hard. Now, a lot of you might be, yes, obvious. Now, let me tell you a fact. Soft skills are only the surface level too. They are not the most important aspect. Your soft skill is developed through your mindset. It's a mindset shift that is needed. So if you asked what really is soft skill, is not just about the outwardly what you see as communication skills. Yes, those matter, but those matter only to a certain extent. Why? You might have very good English, right? But if you don't have the confidence to speak in high-stake meeting, then English is of no use. Again, English or the language ability is not really what communication skill is. It is about how you are able to transfer idea, right? How are you able to get an influence around you? What is your influence circle? That's what matters. Great communication or your English is not the most important thing. Your ability to be able to confidently convey an idea, that is what matters. And that is where the problems are, right? So first is your fears and self-limiting beliefs, right? I'll talk about 3 of them at a high level. I'll go into the details very soon, right? Second is false expectations. So I'll talk about fears and self-limiting beliefs and false expectations. Just so you know what false expectations are, is basically you expect things from your environment that includes, excuse me, your workplace, that you shouldn't be expecting. Like, for example, I am working hard. My KPIs are great, so I should be promoted. I deserve a promotion. No, doesn't work like that. Real world does not work like that, right? And especially if you, as you grow, beginning in the early stages of your career, yes, right? Even if you are an individual contributor wanting to get into your first level manager as a team leader, for example, yes, some of it actually may work. But after a point, after a team leader's role, you are already a manager. If you want to be a manager's manager, none of that works, right? Your KPI alone doesn't get you anywhere. And then there is a lack of system. You don't have clear systems. You don't have clarity on what to do next. I know from experience talking to a lot of leaders on a one-on-one basis that they don't know what to do next. They don't even know what is the role that they really want to go into. But they know that they want to grow. They want to be the CEOs, CXOs, and CFOs. But how do I get there? I don't know. When there is no clarity in what that next step is. Forget about next step. There is no strategy. There is no system in place. In fact, I could ask any one of you here to tell me do you have clarity on what to do next to get to the next level? I know for a fact that a lot of you will say no, right? So that's one of the problems. So what do I do is basically I work with a lot of leaders, help them shift their mindset to being able to look at what those opportunities are, get the clarity, and progress forward. I've created systems that basically works all by itself in most cases, right? And a lot of the times when I have one-on-one conversations with leaders, it's the simple things that are mental blockers. Some experience in the past, or just a lack of clarity doesn't give them enough ammunition to go and convey their idea, because they feel like, what if I'm not successful in conveying that idea. A lot of them have imposter syndrome, in the whole sense that maybe I was just lucky to get here, and if I open my mouth, what if they discover that it was just luck and no skill? But in fact, you've gotten where you are because of a lot of the skills, more than anything else, right? But you don't recognize that, and that's where the problem is. So what are these big problems? You believe your work will speak for itself. First one, I've seen this so many times. Oh, I've got great KPIs, I'm meeting all of the metrics. Why did I not get promoted? The guy next to me got promoted, or the person next to me got promoted. Why? The whole question of why is simply because, well, they did something different, right? They may not have as good a KPI as you, or maybe they could have it as good as you, but they stood out for what? That's the area that needs to be learned, right? So let's talk about that. I'll talk to you about a dear friend of mine, actually. Yeah, Abhinav Mahant was one of my first clients. Well, even before I was actually professionally coaching, you know, I, he reached out to me and I helped him out with a lot of his career moves. Now he is in running his own business, and that's what confidence does, right? So Abhinav believed in meritocracy, which is good to have, but know that merit alone doesn't get you places, right? It's got a lot to do about your ability